Well, we are in Athens, Greece for the FIN Europeans 2019 Olympic qualification for 4 spots. I didn't have a good race in Aarhus, so I couldn't make one of the places there, one of the spots there. So I hope here I have a good race. Oh, for sure, I think we are almost 90 boats. All the top guys are here. It might be harder to win an event like this than Olympic Games or a huge championship like this. For this week we are expecting a very good weather, sunny, sea breeze, wind 10, 12 knots, 14 knots, so pretty good wind, perfect conditions for sailing, for fin sailing, for downwind sailing, free pumping, so it will be great.
Well, here we are, what we've all been waiting for, the final all-telling medal race here at the FIN Open European Championships in Athens. 10 boats lining up on that start line. The top 10 boats. First place is Giles Scott, so it's for him to lose this European Championship at the moment. It's in his hands. He has got Zomba Berkez, the Hungarian, is the only person that could beat him. So you might see a bit of a battle, and Giles just trying to push Zomba Berkez a bit further down the ranks. Andy Maloney, the Kiwi, is in third. All 3 of them are guaranteed a medal. No one else can do that, so it's down to those 3, but which way those medals will turn. Of course, if Scott goes after Berkez, then we could see Maloney make the gain and advantage and jump up in and take second place. So we wait and see. So here we are looking down that line right in front of us here as the boats get away. Superb starts. There is the Hungarian, and funny enough, just above him, not a great start from Giles Scott there. You can see taking that tack out now. That is Zomba Berkez right in front of picture. Jorg Zarif, very happy man. Okay, he's went into this medal race in 10th place. Chances to move up a few spots, but he will be pleased because he claimed one of the 4 spaces available for the Tokyo Olympics, so he's done well. The second space also went to Anders Pedersen of Norway. They both qualified for the medal race and secured their countries and qualified them ready for the games. So they're in a much better place. But again, that's done now. They've qualified. It's all about this race. Who can come out and take this medal race win? Who is going to be crowned European champion? So Jorg Zarif there. Berkez just up above him. Alazar just above Berkez. All working out towards this left-hand side. And there's Anders Pedersen now just going a little bit bow forward of Alazar. So out towards the other side. Andy Maloney and Giles Scott favouring the other side of the course. Remember, this is a double points race. So a lot at stake. You win the race, obviously you're given 2 points. You come last, that's 20 points. So things can shake up quite rapidly. So again, just to put you in the picture of where things stand, the top 3 boats are secured of a medal. The question will be what colours they are. Giles Scott, the worst he could have is silver. He is in gold medal position at the moment. The only person that could beat him is the Hungarian. So you'll see them potentially trying to close the gap a little bit, and him keeping an eye and focused and making sure that Zomba Berkez gets pushed down the fleet. So these early crosses coming on are important. And that's what we're looking right at now as those boats come in from the cross. There's Alichan Kanar. This is Nicholas Heiner, closest to shot. Taking that tack. That is Giles Scott in the background, tacking atop of Zomba Burquez. Closest to picture is Andy Maloney. He is set in a strong position because if Burquez gets pushed out by Scott, Maloney could leapfrog him and take the silver. So, unfortunately, this is one of these critical times where I'm sure if the sailors speak about it, they don't necessarily want to do it, but they've got to secure a place. There, tack after tack, covering tack going in from Scott, straight on top of Burquez. Will they try and use these boats as a little bit of leverage to break away? There is your third place. Andy Maloney is in control, but Giles Scott is in control of this medal race at the moment. Now the tack comes in from Maloney. He's going to track back towards the other boat. This is Alichan Kanar going into this race in 6th place. So trying to move up the ranks. Again, the top 3 are secured of a medal. So the rest are doing it all for pride and trying to move themselves as far up the leaderboard as possible. But if Giles Scott completes his commitment into this medal race and holds the world champion Zomba Burquez off from that top spot and he takes the win, this would be his 3rd European title. So there you can see a bit of a spin and constantly trying to out-tack each other. Zomba Burquez just getting that clear push on that. Now Giles Scott now in that middle. So all Scott is trying to do here is push Burquez back down the fleet. By pushing him down the fleet, he will sail him out of the chance of being able to take Giles Scott's medal away from him. There's a big enough points gap from Maloney to not be able to impact Giles Scott. So unfortunately, Burquez has all the work to do. It's all sat on top of him. Here, just crossing there, is Giles Scott. So obviously Nicholas Heiner happy to let that go. Sorry, not Giles Scott, that was Ed Wright, apologies. Giles Scott still out on the other side with Burquez. There goes the tack again. Constantly just cat and mouse with each other. So again, it doesn't matter where Giles Scott finishes in this race as long as but he keeps Burquez behind him. He's still got plenty of breathing space, but if Burquez picks up too many points, then that will slide him into 3rd. So Andy Maloney up into 2nd at the moment as we approach this windward mark. Here in front, Nicholas Heiner again riding high after beating his teammate Petr Jan Posma, who we saw earlier. He took that win, a phenomenal win by a big margin on that final series race. But unfortunately, he wasn't going to change anything because Nicholas Heiner, getting into this medal race in 5th place, has secured himself as the boat the Netherlands will send for the Finn in the Olympics. So, exciting stuff for Heiner, but that means his journey has just begun. Getting that tick in the box to secure that the Netherlands are going to be represented in the Finn was all completed in Aarhus last year, but who it was going to be, Jan Posma or Heiner, and it's turned out to be Heiner by getting himself into this medal race and finishing above his teammate. There we see Andy Maloney, lovely cross over the top, all looking very comfortable there. Alichan Kanar again got himself qualified back in Aarhus, so this is all just been out for looking for that European Championship. Heiner just up from him, and we've seen going across on starboard just behind is the Norwegian, who likewise qualified his country for the Olympics Games. Anders Pedersen has had a good regatta, started off really well and really strong, and then it became a little bit turbulent towards the end, like quite a few sailors, because of the conditions being so tricky out on the waters here in Athens. And those two boats out of the back of the fleet is Giles Scott and the world champion Zomba Berquez. Giles Scott just trying to hold him back enough that there's a too big a gap to try and climb forward. So even if Berquez gets in front of Giles Scott, the cedar distance he would have to make up to try and then gain some points in between. So fellow Kiwi man also in this medal race, Josh Jr. Jorg Zarif just up above him. Ed Wright, the reigning European champion, of course. Not going to do back-to-back, but not been the week that he hoped for. But again, a formidable sailor, winning and was European champion last year. Second the year before that, and third in 2014. So a dominant player and force on the European circuit. Al-Azhar doing a double tack up. So here's the mark now in shot. This is who is it going to decide. So Al-Azhar taking that tack just on what looked like on Maloney's heel. Josh Jr. going into attack there, but he's not clear enough. The Argentinian Facundo Al-Azhar leads. Then it's Andy Maloney. This would be good enough to put him in silver at the moment. Jorg Zarif. Then Heine. Look at that. So a lot of people misjudging it. Josh Jr. being bounced all over the shot. That couldn't have gone any worse for him there. He's double tacked, triple tacked, now forcing it. Boat speed's gone. Anders Pedersen round. Ed Wright round. Now Josh Jr. What a disaster, and not a Winwood mark he'll want to repeat or think about for too long. But here, look in the background. Wait to see what happens. There should be two boats still coming upwind. There they are as we on the drone. Going to just go either side. Anders Pedersen in the middle. Ed Wright to there. Those are. So Berquez was in front there. Just watching the spin there. That looks like the Dutchman Heine doing a spin. So clearly a penalty handed out at that windward mark. But the two boats that were vying for gold and silver, and of course now bronze because of with where Maloney is Berquez and Scott were still making their way upwind through the rest of the fleet. And this is exactly what Andy Maloney hoped would happen. He is out in front, or up in second place anyway, so he's out clear towards that front side of the race course. Got a bit of breathing space, and he's just trying to track down Facundo Al-Azhar, the Argentinian. And if he can leapfrog him and take the win, then that is going to certainly secure his silver medal. But at the moment, he is doing enough. Great shots as the boats go downwind. Seems weird to look at the fleet now in this medal race format with only 10 boats in it. Looks obviously with 4 boats only in shot now, it looks like we've lost most of the fleet. Looking at that stunning 84 boat fleet racing throughout the week. It has been a tough week for all that have competed. You know, it's been no straightforward position for Giles Scott to lead into this medal race, or Berquez or Andy Maloney, certainly on the second to last day, or the last day of potential racing we lost due to the wind. So it was day 4 where he really stumbled and picked up a couple of 20s, and that saw him move from what was a first place down to third, and then it's all been about protecting it. But this is the opportunity here in this medal race to get back up into silver. So working the boat hard as they go downwind. The jibe comes in from Al-Azhar. We can see the 2 marks in the middle of the course. That is the gate mark. So they have that opportunity to choose left or right mark. Choose where they want to be going. They'll go in between them and then split out to either side. Very tough conditions. You can see some great conditions. We've got what's in that top right corner, about 11.9. So we've had about 11, 12 knots throughout this race course, hence Oscar flag being up, the pumping rule in, so allowing to pump as much as you like downwind. That can be body weight, that can be Uchin, that can be the mainsail working. That's exactly what they're doing. Constantly trying to surf, but look at that rhythmic movement. Body goes up, forces down through the legs, big pump on that sail. And again, it's all about picking these waves, trying to surf down. Just to your left, Andy Maloney is going to appear in sight somewhere. The question will be whether he will take the same mark as Al-Azhar, or whether they will split at this gate mark. The battle right at the back of the fleet at the moment is Zomba Berquez and Giles Scott. Giles Scott just sailing him right to the back of the fleet and giving themselves enough distance that even if he got in front of Giles Scott, it still meant that there was a long leap before he could start overtaking boats and claiming points back. So currently how things stand, Giles Scott will take his third title as Al-Azhar rounds the left mark, or the right mark as we were looking at it. Maloney round the other. Jorg Zarif choosing the same as Maloney. Now scooping round. Anders Pedersen coming down on that side as well. So the drones decided to zoom on upwind just to see where we're at, but let's see if we can spin back. So Al-Azhar is here. The other boat far left of picture, that is Maloney heading out the other side. So the lead two boats have split. But with looking at the medals, in the current situation, Giles Scott, even though at the back of the fleet, is going to take this European Championship. Nothing anyone can do about it apart from Berquez. Berquez was in second leading into here. He had a little bit of a points gap to jump. 7 points, I believe. Let's have a look. So, no, 5 point gap, apologies, before they went into this race. So that was only sort of 2-3 boats that they needed to put in between it. I'm sorry, I have not got the points completely right. I'm looking at the wrong numbers whatsoever. So, a complete lie. So, 15 points separate them. So, that would mean a fair significant chunk of boats in between them for Berquez to take the win. So, apologies on that. I thought I was doing my maths right, but actually I was looking at the wrong lines totally. So, but as they go upwind for the second time and final time, Berquez really needs to be going at least 3-4 knots quicker than any other boat if he's got any chance to scooping that chance of European title. But realistically, it looks like it will be going to Giles Scott, his third European title. He won it in 2011, 2014, and then he is currently set to win here. But leading this medal race at the moment, Facundo Al-Azhar from Argentina. So how the European status of course works, anyone can go and sail, such as the Argentinians, the Kiwis, all of those can be there, but they just wouldn't take the crown. So the European boats will be picked out of those leaderboards. So once we've got the leaderboard, we'll be able to identify first, second and third from those European boats. There is Berquez though. He is working his way back upwind. No sign of Scott, so whether he's gone the other way or however, but Scott has done his damage in that first leg. That first upwind leg causing enough pain to Berquez to be far enough back. That could, as I say, be enough and exactly where Giles Scott wanted Berquez. So let's have a look. So Alichan Kena, the boat highlight over the side. Giles Scott working out towards that side. Zomba Berquez headed completely the opposite side. Andy Maloney looks like he's probably got the jump here on this upwind leg on Al-Azhar. Jorg Zarif trying to get in front as well. This is all turning out to be the medal race we hoped it would be. So as the boats here on the tracker identify Andy Maloney, they are coming upwind. So just spin that graphic round so the other way. So they are moving upwind. So Andy Maloney would be on the hard right as coming upwind, but as we see it from this image, on that hard left. Jörg Zarif just below. Here's the image, Andy Maloney again. And that is the gap that we thought might be closed. Now taking attack, just covering back Olazar. Andy Maloney leads this race. This will set him up for the silver medal. There is the green mark. Green this time because a change of course, whether they've shortened it slightly or the breeze just shifting around. It's certainly not as long as that first upwind leg, so I believe it would have been shortened slightly. Didn't hear any sound signals or get any notifications, so apologies on the change of course. But green mark it is. Andy Maloney, the Kiwi. He has led during this time at the European Championships, but it won't be the title that he'll take. But he would certainly rather go home with the silver around his neck, or certainly in the second place, rather than third. He's got work to do with the Olympian from Argentina, Facundo Olazar. Now onto the waves and chasing him down, but Maloney exactly where he needs to be. Now Jörg Zarif coming in. Those two boats way back down. That is Berkez and Giles Scott. They're not even going to get close to touching distance to this fleet. So Alichan Keinar. Now Anders Pedersen from Norway, who's got himself qualified this week. So super pleased with himself. Ed Wright, the reigning European champion, but soon to be changed and taken over by his teammate. Then Josh Jr. Then Nicholas Heine. So Nicholas Heine going to have to try and pull through a little bit at the moment if he can. He's back in 8th place, but that certainly would be enough. He should probably stay in about 5th place, which again would secure him a solid place. And actually looking at the countries obviously involved at the moment, that would give him the 3rd space on the European, so the bronze European. So Berkez around, Giles Scott just having to go for a double tack around that mark. Again, no such stress for Giles Scott. You can see it's all pretty relaxed on board, doing the things that he needs to do, but he knows his job is done. Berkez and Scott are so far behind everybody else. The chances of touching and getting back in, Giles Scott, look at the difference. Not going into that full attack mode when Berkez is going at it straight away, working, pumping his way downwind, trying to catch up. Giles Scott knows he has done it. What a feeling. 3 times he will be crowned the European champion in the Finn class. With the Finn class out of the games potentially for Paris, then this could be the last that you see of Giles Scott, sort of in terms of he'll run up to the games in Tokyo 2020, but is with his commitments to the America's Cup as well. I think his full focus after that games will be on the Cup, and he can at least say he was the last Wilder Finn was Olympic class of the European champions, which is pretty special. But Andy Maloney has just been superb again this week. Just that rough 4th day where he picked up 2/20ths, and that's just allowed Giles Scott to creep out in front of him. He's going to take this left-hand mark, jibing around now, and this short dog leg to a finish. This, again, for Maloney, could be the only position he could change place. He was 7 points back from Berkez, so he needed to have some boats in between him, but he's certainly done more than that, or the damage had been done from Scott on that first leg. So Andy Maloney, after winning in Parma a few weeks before, now comes into that finish line. That is the win in the medal race and will secure him 2nd place overall. Now coming in, Facundo Olazar remains in 4th place. The point's too big to jump at the medals. Alichan Kanar takes 3rd, so a good result for him. That will keep him in 6th. Jorg Zarif now, he'll move up from 10th to 7th. So a great result for these. Josh Jr., a bit of a shocker there in that sort of dog bit. Now coming across the line, these are the boats that we look back at. 2 more boats still on the racetrack. This man coming towards us, the world champion Jorg Zarif from Hungary. You know, still trying to work, still trying to be the professional that he needs to be all the way through, knowing that European title has slipped through his fingers due to an aggressive Scot early on. He forced his position, he dominated that position, and there was little Berquez could do, and unfortunately, rather than just sliding to 2nd, has slid to 3rd overall in the overall rankings. He still will be the 2nd European, and that's how it will finish for him. But unfortunately, Andy Maloney creeps in front. So now the boat coming downwind. He's led through most of the regatta apart from the slip up in day 3. A little bit at the early part of day 4, which saw Maloney make the gains. But consistency has paid off. Very happy. A happy coach Matt Howard has worked hard with Giles Scott. This is his first championship back in the boat after Rio. So I'm sure a very relieved and very happy person. He knew he had it all to lose. There is his coach, Matt Howard, getting alongside, ready to have a chat with him. But superb scenes here in Athens. It is the Olympic champion, Giles Scott, who will be crowned European champion. And what a fantastic way to do it. So, overall standings. Giles Scott will take the win. Andy Maloney takes 2nd after winning that medal race, and Berquez obviously being far enough back. He leapfrogged him into silver. Berquez, the world champion, in 3rd. Facundo Olazar feels like he's probably stuck on 4th all the way through this regatta, but finishes 4th. Heine 5th, 6th Kanar, 7th Zarif, 8th Junior, 9th Pedersen, and 10th Ed Wright. So Ed Wright slipping back, and so a little disappointing and not being the regatta that he certainly hoped for. How the European table stacks out, of course. Giles Scott wins his 3rd title. Zomba Berquez from Hungary takes 2nd. And Nicholas Heine from the Netherlands will take 3rd in the European standings. Okay, so we see the medal race positions. That's 1st and 2nd on just that medal race. But what a superb end to what's been a fantastic championship. A real battle of mental strength, a real battle of wits to be able to keep your cool, not get phased by the conditions. A big well done to all the organisers who have set up this. It has been hosted by the Hellenic Sailing Federation in Athens and been based out of the Athens International Sailing Centre. But superb way to finish it.